Good evening, families and P-Tech people. I don't think this is going to work, but luckily I am more than 6 feet apart from people because you are in your living rooms or in your kitchens, and I am at the gym at Broome-Tioga BOCES. My name is Matt Sheehan. I am the principal for the Center for Career and Technical Excellence. I will also be your master's ceremony tonight for the P-Tech graduation and awards ceremony, and it's an honor to do so. Before we bring up our welcome note speaker, I want to do a couple of pieces of housekeeping. One, in your home, please find your exits just in case you need them in an emergency. Two, find out where the bathrooms are. Like I know in here, the bathrooms are over to my right. You can go out and use them. Make sure you know where your bathrooms are, and probably locate a fire extinguisher because you might need that at some point because this is going to be an exciting day. When it comes to applauding for graduates, please be really loud in your houses so that your neighbor hears you and goes from there. But with no more information about how to get through our housekeeping of tonight's ceremony, I'd like to take a moment to introduce a local superintendent who supports our program on all levels, from advice to sending students to helping students with transportation to getting kids to their jobs, all these different things. His school district has been a strong component of supporting the P-Tech program and initiative from day one. So it is my honor to invite Windsor Superintendent Dr. Jason Andrews to welcome all of you to the stage.
Great, thank you, Matt. Really very appreciative to be able to be part of this, this great ceremony, even though it's in this virtual setting. So thinking about the P-Tech program and you graduating tonight and going on a little trip down memory lane where as 8th graders you were really posed with this big decision. Do I get involved with the P-Tech program? And that was a struggle for you, and it made me think about my time as a principal in the middle school and those 8th grade decisions and some of the things that seem like big decisions. And as I thought about it, you know, so I've lived in the community my whole life, generations of my family has. My grandfather, as an 8th grader, like so many of his family members, neighbors, their choices were a little different because in so many of the one-room schoolhouses in Broome County, 8th grade was the end of their schooling. And so thinking now, fast-forwarding just a couple of generations down the road where you had this big decision, but an incredible opportunity to really enter a program that was just being built in our region, but that really put you on a totally different trajectory. And thinking about this, and when Mr. Sheehan asked me to be a part of it, you know, he described you as trailblazers. And when you think about what a trailblazer is, you know, it's a pioneer, someone who sets the path for others, that goes in uncharted territory, wilderness, etc. And you really are trailblazers because you've not only found a path for yourselves, but you're setting this path and pathway up for the students that will follow you. So just could not be more proud of you. I also, frankly, am a little bit jealous. So I graduated from high school like 27 years ago, and I was really proud a few months ago when I finished paying off my college debt. And I think about you that are graduating with this dual program, both your high school diploma and a college degree. And I have to tell you, I'm envious. I'm envious personally. I think about my own kids that are trying to figure out their college debt and college plans, and you just are in such a great place. And this big decision you made in 8th grade is already paying off. The Windsor Central School District, our mission is to ensure that each learner is future ready. And thinking about you, I can't think of a group that is more ready for their future. In fact, your future starts now, and our community will benefit from you being future ready. These jobs that are ready for you, the community needs you, and again, I just could not be more proud to be one of the first on behalf of not only the Windsor Central School District, but the Broome-Tioga Chief School Officers Association, and my colleagues across Broome and Tioga counties. I want to offer my congratulations to you and wish you all the very best of luck in your very bright futures. Thank you very much.
What a great opening from Dr. Jason Andrews. Thank you so much for that. And again, thank you for all of the support you've given us over the years. So at this time, to really start off our ceremony, we'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'd like to invite one of our students who is actively serving in the National Guard, Katie Delage.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So at this time in our program, we like to recognize our students. So what we do here in PTAC is we invite our teachers actually recognize our students, because who knows them better than their teachers. So our first teacher to come up and recognize their student is Mr. Brian Tolan from our computer science program to talk about his remarkable student for this year. Brian?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of the graduating PTAC seniors and also the graduating PTAC SUNY Broome students. I'm here to present the Outstanding Student Award to Matt Dunbar. Matt is a great student, great person. He's funny, articulate, nice. He's one of the go-to people in my class for whenever any of his peers have any problems. The one thing that one of the best ways I could illustrate how good of a student he is, the one thing that I had to have him overcome in the last 2 years was not to capitalize every single word. So if that's the worst that he can do, he's a great, great example of an outstanding student. So congratulations, Matt.
Brian, awesome to see that award. Congratulations, Matt. Well, our next teacher to come up and present to a student will be Kelly Vivalli from the health programs. Kelly.
Hi, PTAC. I am here to present the Health Remarkable Student Award. So as you guys know, I'm Mrs. Vivalli, filming from my own home. I know things are a little bit different this year, but you know what? We're gonna get by, and you guys have already done an amazing job so far. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my remarkable student that I chose this year. This person is an amazing person to have in class, whether we are in person in the classroom or in quarantine and in our home classroom. She has done an amazing job all throughout. She's insightful, she's thoughtful, she's respectful, she's always on time, she comes prepared to class, regardless, like I said before, if we were in or out of class, and is always ready to share and ready to contribute. She is helpful with her peers. She's patient with her peers. If somebody needs help, she's always there to lend a helping hand. And I appreciate the conversation that she helps generate within our classroom as well. She also regularly makes real-world connections with many of the topics we discuss in class, which is a skill that will help her be successful in anything that she chooses to do from here on out. She is an example to her peers, and she is more than deserving of this recognition. So without further ado, I would like to present my Health Remarkable Student Award to Ayana Feggins-Wilkes. Ayana, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy of all the work that you've been doing all year long. Like I said, whether we were in the classroom or not, you did an amazing job, and I'm so very proud of you, and I can't wait for you to receive this. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ayana. Kelly, such a great way to talk about a student and celebrate them. Well, our next student award will be presented by our engineering teacher, one Matt Hamilton-Jones.
Welcome, guys. Gosh, I'm going to give out the engineering award this year. You know, this was a tough end of the year. You know, this pandemic was tough, and understand the kids, you guys did a great job. It was really hard and new to everyone, but again, I got to thank you for attending all my Zoom sessions. It was wonderful. You know, this award was really difficult for me to choose between my class. You're my 11th grade class. I always give it to the 11th grade class. You guys all really deserve some sort of award, but you know, obviously I had to pick somebody. So I'm not going to keep the suspense here. I picked Cody Miller. Great kid. You know, these past 2 years he's had a really difficult time. You know, he lost his dad last year. and he's had some multiple health issues and surgeries, but you know, Cody, you're always ready to go. You work hard, you got good attitude, you're a great team player, and most of all, you have a great sense of humor. So I'm so ecstatic to give you this award. And, you know, going back to it, you know, all you guys are all welcome to come to my class next year. Stop in, see me. I love seeing everyone. So, again, congratulations, Cody. Well deserved.
Hello, everyone. This year's Math Award goes to an incredibly hardworking individual. They stand out to me and Mr. Sager as someone who gives their 100% every day and cares about building their knowledge and understanding. Their mathematical confidence continues to grow, and they have raised their math average more than 20 points over their time in P-TECH. This year's Math Award goes to Jessica Bridges. Congratulations, Jessica. Mr. Sager and I are so impressed with your dedication, and we know great things are in your future.
Hi students and staff, I'm Coralie Graham, the 10th and 11th grade science teacher for P-TECH. Thank you so much for being here to support all of our amazing students. It's really an honor to work with so many wonderful young adults, but that makes choosing one person for this award that much more difficult. So many of our students come to school every day with positive attitudes and put in an exceptional effort despite difficult circumstances in their personal lives, and for that they deserve a round of applause. This year I've chosen a student who always lights up the classroom with her smile and always demonstrates kindness towards others. I've chosen this student because her dedication to science excellence and her ability to analyze and discuss information. This was especially evident from the work she put into her science project last year. She demonstrates an exceptional ability to manage her time effectively and is an excellent communicator. Ellen Buckley is a student who leads by example. She's not only a strong student academically, but she's also active in sports programs, Odyssey of the Mind, and Skills USA, which is an extracurricular program for students here at BOCES. Thank you, Ellen. I'm really super proud of you and know you'll be successful in anything you put your mind to. Wishing everyone a wonderful and safe summer vacation, and I look forward to seeing you again next year.
Well, it's really my honor to finish off our student awards part by bringing up another student, technically two. So let's talk about this before we hand it out. So this is the Shining Star. And when we came up with this award, we were saying, what kid just exemplifies P-TECH? That we look at and say, man, they are P-TECH true and through. So what we decided a few years ago, thanks to Clyde and his amazing speaking skills when he got up here, we decided that the best way to do this is to actually have the previous Shining Star handed off to the next Shining Star. So I would like to bring up today, or believe it's going to be virtual, but invite up to the stage at this point, Ilma Helovik from Susquehanna Valley, the 2019 engineering student who won the Shining Star, to introduce our 2020 Shining Star.
Hi everyone, my name is Ilma Helovik. I am currently a senior in the P-TECH program pursuing my degree in mechanical engineering technology. I received the 2019 P-TECH Shining Star Award, and it was a huge honor and represents many years of hard work. I have been given the pleasure of presenting the P-TECH Shining Star Award for 2020. I will now read to you a few of the nominations that this year's award winner received. This nomination was sent in by P-TECH health teacher Mrs. Vivali. I nominate this student because she is one of the hardest workers I've ever met. She currently has a 100 in my class. Every assignment is always turned in on time and done to the best of her ability. She has earned a 95 in medical terminology, which is no small feat. She may be one of the more reserved Shining Star nominations, but she is compassionate, kind, and understanding. She will be a wonderful employee someday and deserves such an accolade on her resume. This next nomination was sent in by P-TECH math teacher Mrs. Carty. I am recommending this student because she exemplifies the academic motivation and drive that we strive to foster in P-TECH students. She is respectful, responsible, kind, intelligent, and thoughtful. She always asks great questions and is always willing to dive into new learning. She has impressive time management skills, and all her peers who work with her learn and benefit from her shared organization. The last nomination was sent in by P-TECH 9 lead teacher, Miss Roach. This student has been a shining star since 9th grade. Though she may be quiet, she is also a remarkable student in many ways. She has great attendance, does impressive work, helps other students, is always polite and positive. She always works through even the hard days when things have her down. I feel confident saying that she could be called on for anything, and she would not only get it done, but she would get it done above our expectations. I would like to announce that the 2020 P-TECH Shining Star Award goes to Bailey Woods.
I will give you a hug right in the face. I was crying. Congratulations, we're so proud of you. You're amazing.
So Bailey, this is your, I have the honor of presenting to you the 2020 P-TECH Shining Star Award.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, well deserved.
Thank you. Can you turn it into this? Congratulations to Bailey, the most amazing shining star for P-TECH 2020. Yay! You're welcome.
My name's Andy Harder, my counselor.
And you truly are a shining star. You truly represent what P-TECH is. So at this point in the program, I get to do one of my favorite parts, which is just give out awards, which is really easy to do. But I like to talk about each one of these awards because they're very important to us, and we spend a lot of time thinking about them. So we have 3 awards we give out. We give out a business partner, higher education, and a K-12. And this year, we're going to give our business partner award to Matt Gill of Enhanced VR. Enhanced VR is located in the incubator downtown at the Kauffman Center. But more importantly, we started with, hey, do you want 1 intern? Ended up with 4. He ended up taking care of these kids, giving them guidance, helping them through their school time, offering them to come back, giving them all this different support, that he truly became a mentor to them, which doesn't always happen. Our business partners are amazing, but the level of he had with these students could not be matched. So I'd like to take us a minute, bring him up, and present him with an award. Matt, come to the stage. Now, because of social distancing, Matt, I will leave your award on the stage for you, and you can have it and take it with you.
Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it. It's an honor to be able to get this award, and something I really, truly didn't expect, because I just found it was part of my duty as someone to take on more students, to teach them something that they're passionate about. So it was really a pleasure last summer to have our 4 students, and the only part I really told them to do for the whole summer was to challenge them to learn, and they did that excellently. It was really amazing time to be able to make the different projects that they did, and we're really looking forward to having more students and growing our relationship with P-TECH and different academic institutions in the area to further support the work that we do. So really excited about that, and I just have to mention, I got to thank SUNY Broome for the opportunity to share the lab and the equipment, so these students could really have an amazing summer learning virtual reality and game development programs. So thank you guys again, and looking forward to future opportunities with you. So congratulations to all the seniors. Thank you.
Matt Gill, thank you. Thank you, thank you for what you do for our kids. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do in P-TECH. So we appreciate people like you and businesses like yours supporting this initiative. So I got a little smarter, brought the award with me this time for the higher education person. So when I talk about the higher education person, they were not able to make it today, but they did send someone in their replay to accept the award on their behalf. Any student out there is going to know this name, and any teacher who works with P-TECH is going to know. Andrea Roma is our award winner this year. Since Andrea has taken on the role of liaison for P-TECH and her jobs with Fast Forward, it literally catapulted our program at that moment. She became an advocate for us. When I say advocate for us, I mean she advocated what we could do and can't do and helped us understand the ins and outs. She became a problem solver. She saw problems, because a real problem solver doesn't just tell you what a problem is. She would solve them, find them, solve them, and tell us what we had to do. And she became an advocate for our kids. She got to the point, a lot of people don't think a 16, 17-year-old can take the class. And she said, look at their work. Wait till you see them come through. And she defended and spoke up for our kids. So it was a very easy choice this year for us on selecting Andrea Roma for the higher education partner for P-TECH. And accepting on her behalf is President Kevin Drum, which I also find interesting because usually you get to send someone who works for you. She somehow got the boss of bosses to come. Kevin, thank you.
On Andrea's behalf, it's an honor to accept this award. We're very lucky to have her. As everyone involved in P-TECH knows, unfortunately, last minute due to the COVID situation, she had to stay home, and a lot of us doing that these days for one reason or another. And we can't thank Andrea enough for her leadership in this program. She represents SUNY Broome so well. Congratulations, Andrea. It's an honor to accept this on your behalf.
Dr. Drum, that was nice of you to accept that on behalf of Andrea. Man, she is an integral part to us. So when we talk about our K-12 Education Award, we give that to someone who works at a school district that supports P-TECH at all costs at times. And honestly, this was an easy decision for me and Mr. Harden this year because we were able to choose someone who's near and dear to our heart. And this person actually is in the room today. We'd like to select Amy Wiswell because of all her hard service to all of these students as they are graduating. And now that she no longer works for Broome-Tioga, she is eligible to win this award. And man, does she deserve this award. Amy, can you come up and accept your award?
Oh my gosh, you guys, you're sneaky. You tricked me. I couldn't believe when you wouldn't tell me earlier who won the award. That's so not like you. But thank you guys so very much. I think you all know how much I care about this program, how much I love you all, and I'm just thrilled that I'm going to be able to take this with me to put in my home so that I think about you guys every single day. Thank you again. I love you guys.
So it's really my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. And to explain what I mean by my honor, I worked side by side, I believe it was for 4 years, but I can't even count anymore at this point in my career. And then not to mention when we worked together at Binghamton Schools at West Middle. But our keynote speaker tonight is our former school counselor, Amy Wiswell, who has, I could say without a hesitation in my mind, our P-TECH program would not be as strong if it wasn't for her years and dedication she gave to our students to be able to be where we are today, to celebrate the graduates, the number we are, our kids doing what they do, the internships, all that work came from Amy and her hard dedication to our students. So without further ado, as we transition into the graduation part of tonight's ceremony, we're going to invite Amy Wiswell up here to have her do her keynote address for all of you guys. Amy?
Thank you so much for the kind words, Matt. Good evening, my P-TECH family. I'm so excited that Mr. Sheehan asked me to be a part of this wonderful event. I have to be honest with you, though. When he first asked, I did hesitate for a quick minute. I'm not really a fan of being in the spotlight, and looking back at the keynote speakers from previous years, I'm following in some big footsteps. Although I haven't been a part of your day-to-day activities this year, Ms. Roach has been giving me regular updates. You are always in my heart, and I will always do whatever I can for you and this program. Ron Crawford and Jason Gardner were kind enough to offer their words of wisdom and advice the last 2 years. While I may not hold a position of their level, nor have as much experience as they do, I do have something that I feel is just as important, if not more. I have the joy of personally knowing each and every one of you, and while this virtual format relieves a bit of my uneasiness, I wish you were all right here in front of me. Even though you aren't, if I close my eyes, I can see each of your faces. I can see the colors of the various districts' graduation gowns all lined up, more beautiful together than separate. I can see the smiles on the faces of your family members and your teachers, as well as the pride in their eyes. If I concentrate really hard, I can even smell the yummy food. After all, we always eat well in P-TECH. I can clearly remember when I heard about the P-TECH program for the first time. Right from the start, I knew it was an amazing opportunity. I remember doing the initial recruiting, for our Cohort 1 students, our pioneers, tonight's graduating SUNY Broome students. I also clearly remember when I first learned that Mr. Sheehan had decided to add a school counselor to the program. I knew that I wanted to be a part of this amazing opportunity. I remember my first day here at BOCES, meeting all of you for the first time, going around the various classrooms and sharing our favorite places for pizza. Again, it wouldn't be P-TECH if it didn't include good food. I also remember fairly soon after that going into the very first 9th grade P-TECH classes to do a little algebra lesson with tonight's graduating high school students. Together, we figured out that only about 2% of the students in our area are accepted into the P-TECH program. You are that 2%. You are that 2% who are taught in state-of-the-art classrooms. You are that 2% who are taught by incredibly passionate teachers. You are that 2% who started college classes in 9th grade. You are that 2% who were given this amazing opportunity. To be a part of that 2%, that is very impressive. Honestly though, there are a lot of great opportunities at every high school in this area. I have worked with a lot of teachers who would do anything for their students. I have seen classrooms that have blown me away, but those aren't the things that impress me the most. What impresses me the most is you, every single one of you. Someone dangled that P-TECH carrot in front of your face and you went for it. You made the conscious decision to pursue this incredible journey. You stepped out of your comfort zone, you took the risk, and you went for it. You made a 6-year commitment to take advantage of this amazing opportunity. You put yourself on the path to the future you want for yourself. That's a big commitment for someone so young. This program requires a lot of work, more work than many of your peers take on. It's not easy. It's a constant balancing act, juggling your district's expectations, P-TECH's expectations, SUNY Broome's expectations, our business partners' expectations, and your family's expectations. But you figured it out. You made it work. You made sacrifices. You passed up on a lot of fun things. You gave up large amounts of time just to get here every day. You prioritized and put your future before those things. You kept your nose to the grindstone and you worked hard. You have developed strong habits and have acquired skills that few others your age possess. Each of you are future ready and on your way to obtaining a happy, successful life. As impressed as I am with all of your hard work, I am even more impressed with the fact that you are all good humans. Most of you came into this program knowing only 1 or 2 other students. I'm not sure I could have done that, but you did it, and in no time, you let your guard down, you let us in, you let your P-TECH peers in, you became a part of the P-TECH family. You accepted others for exactly who they are. You learned and you grew from each other. You helped make this the place where many feel most connected. You have appreciated your teachers and this opportunity. You have been open to new ideas and experiences. You have given back to your community. You have made this world a better place. My life is better thanks to each of you, and I feel privileged to have shared this chapter of your life with you. I am proud of each and every one of you, and I look forward to continuing to watch you on your journey of continued success.
So it's gotten to that moment, the moment everyone waits for at graduation, the kids. So we're transitioning from awards to graduation at this moment. And man, it's going to be an honor to see these kids come across this proverbial stage. But in order to do that, I'm going to invite our school counselor up, Mr. Andy Harden, to read the names and honor our students. Andy?
Thank you so much, Mr. Sheehan. It's an honor to be here tonight to celebrate the class of 2020. I gotta say, you know, I have some very big shoes to fill with Miss Wiswell, and I'm so glad she was here, and she's very, very deserving of the award, and so are all of our award winners tonight. So without further ado, P-TECH class of 2020. From Maine and Well, Austin Baker, Civil Engineering Technology. From Maine and Well, Jordan Barrett, Computer Studies. From Binghamton, Alana Boone, Health Studies.
From Union Endicott, Raven Austin, Computer Studies.
From Owego Appalachian, Sage Katie, Mechanical Engineering Technology. From Binghamton, Yatiana Coleman, Health Studies. From Susquehanna Valley, Xavier Davies, Computer Studies. From Binghamton, Joseph Deary, Computer Studies. From Union Endicott, Kathleen Delage, Health Studies. From Binghamton, Noah Drum, Computer Studies. From Binghamton, Jessica Garcon, Health Studies. From Maine Endwell, Travis Hayquist, Computer Studies. From Susquehanna Valley, Ilma Helovik, Mechanical Engineering Technology. From Binghamton, Rhea Hanyon, Computer Studies. From Union Endicott, Melinda Hine, Health Studies. From Whitney Point, Carter Ingram, Computer Studies. From Binghamton, Kathleen Joseph, Health Studies. From Binghamton, Alex Couchis, Computer Studies. From Union Endicott, Angelina O'Loughlin, Health Studies. From Union Endicott, Erica Osterhout, Computer Studies. From Windsor, Garcia Pfister Gumer, Civil Engineering Technology. From Binghamton, Melissa Randall Titus, Health Studies. From Whitney Point, Amber Rockdashel, Health Studies. From Maine Endwell, Shane Sanford, Computer Studies. From Binghamton, Sean Scott, Civil Engineering Technology. From Binghamton, John Sedlock, Mechanical Engineering Technology. From Union Endicott, David Strollo, Mechanical Engineering Technology. From Binghamton, Robert Turbos, Health Studies. And our final member of the class of 2020, Brian Titus from Susquehanna Valley, Health Studies. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Hey P-Tech seniors, Coach Roach here, coming to you from my office, unfortunately. I wish we could all be together celebrating this great accomplishment with you guys in person in the gym at BOCES. But the only good thing about not being there is that you guys don't have to see me ugly cry. But know that I'll be right here watching the live stream, ugly crying. I remember it like it was just yesterday. Some of you guys were in my room as 9th graders, and I've loved watching you grow over the last 4 years. I can't believe today's the day. You guys have done it. You're graduating, moving on to greater and better things. I'm so proud of you. Know that I'm always here for you to help you out. And same goes to those who weren't in my 9th grade class. I've loved getting to know you guys over the years as well, and I'm always here for you too. Great job to all of you. Congratulations. Keep doing the good work and making us proud. Bye.
Congratulations to our graduates. It is rare for a math teacher to have the same students for 2 years in a row, so you guys will always hold a special place in my heart. I think you're wonderful and consider myself lucky to have learned with and from you. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, P-Tech seniors. We're so proud of you. And although this is probably not the way you wanted it to end, you have a bright future in front of you.
Before I invite Mr. Harden back up here to introduce you to all of our college graduates, we have a little tradition here at P-Tech. I say tradition because we started it last year, where we give a book to every graduating SUNY Broome graduate from P-Tech. And I picked the book, I won't lie. I picked the book and I actually write a message inside every one of them for every student. I picked the book based on the fact that I read kids' books because I have very little children. We get a children's book every year. So this year I'm going to read You're Here for a Reason. And I think you'll understand why we're going to do that. And with full disclosure, I hate to read aloud, so like even to do this shows you guys how much I'm willing to put myself out there for you. You're here for a reason. You certainly are. The world would be different without you by far. If not for your hands and your eyes and your feet, the world like a puzzle would be incomplete. Even the smallest of things that you do blossom and multiply far beyond you. A kindness, for instance, may triple for days or set things in motion in different ways. It travels much further than you ever know, under the treetops, over the snow, till it has wandered and fluttered and floated and twirled, making things happen all over the world. You're here for a reason, it's totally true. Your part of the world is counting on you. So don't be too worried if some days fall flat. Good things can happen even from that. Life can be tricky, there isn't a doubt. You'll skin your knees trying to figure it out. But life works together, the good and the bad, the silly and the awful, the happy and the sad. To paint a big picture we can't always see, a picture that needs you most definitely. Remember, the next time a day goes all wrong, to somebody else you will always be strong. And that ball that you lose or the kite you let go could make someone's day, you'll just never know. You're here for a reason. If you think you're not, I would just say that perhaps you forgot. A piece of the world that is precious and dear would surely be missing if you weren't here. If not for your smile or your laugh or your heart, this world will call home would be minus a part. Thank goodness you're here. Thank goodness 2 times. I just can't imagine a world without you. So as I read this, I say this to all of you. I can't wait to see how you fit yourselves into the world like puzzle pieces, because when I look around and I think of these graduates that are coming out of SUNY Broome this year, they're going to change the world. Now when I say someone's going to change the world, you have to realize I'm talking about changing their world, changing the world around them. Just by changing the circumstances or things of that nature, they're changing the world. And these kids have worked so hard, and at this point I could probably start calling them adults because they're all going to start working soon or going on to a 4-year college to get where they need to be. And it's truly an honor to be a part of that, and I stand by the fact that there is a reason you're here. But with further ado, we need to recognize all of these people, and I'd like to invite up one Mr. Andy Harden to introduce you to our college graduates. Andy?
Thank you again, Mr. Sheehan. Nice job reading the book. I know that's not your favorite, but it was really well done. So it's my pleasure and honor again to announce our SUNY Broome graduates from this last academic year. These students completed their degree requirements in the fall of 2019 and graduated in December of 2019. Nine-Twig Akel from Binghamton, Health Studies AAS. Pilar Finsel from Binghamton, Health Studies AAS. Paige Gill from Shenango Valley, Computer Technology AAS. Lily Matthews from Maine Endwell, Health Sciences AAS. These are our graduates from the spring of 2020. They will be official SUNY Broome graduates within the next couple of weeks, but they are our P-Tech graduates. Michael Huang, Binghamton, Computer Technology AAS. Devin Sutton, Union Endicott, Computer Technology AAS. Caleb Richardson, Union Endicott, Computer Technology AAS. We have 2 more students to recognize. They will not be graduating until very, very near future. The first one's going to be finishing her degree requirements this summer and will be an official SUNY Broome graduate this August. That is Amira Malazam from Binghamton, Health Studies AAS. Our last student we want to recognize will be a SUNY Broome graduate as of the fall of 2020. He has a couple more classes to finish up at SUNY Broome and will be finishing his degree in December. That student is Khalid Abdallah from Binghamton, Computer Technology AAS. Congratulations to all of our SUNY Broome graduates.
Wow. I mean, that many kids graduating from high school 6 years ago. Who would have thought we'd be where we are now? I can't express the joy and happiness I have for these students and their hard work and their determination. But I do know someone who can put it into better words than me because he has a lot more speaking engagements. So I would like to invite up the president of SUNY Broome, Kevin Drum, to the stage for closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Matt. It's really multiple honor to be here with all of you for your commencement today. We all know that the P in Pathways, in P-Tech stands for Pathways, and in case we need to be reminded, it's right there. But for this class, it also means a whole lot of things, including Pioneer. You're the first full class of P-Tech grads to come up through our local school districts and SUNY Broome. And you had to have a pioneering spirit to even consider and sign up for this in the first place. And we're so appreciative of your pioneering spirit. And we know it'll be one of those foundational principles that will help lead you to success for the rest of your life, including a number of other things that go along with getting a college degree, not to mention a college degree and a high school diploma at the same time. One, your diploma tells the world that you can set a major goal, one that even takes 5 or 6 years to complete, and you kept your eyes on the prize and you completed it. That will tell future employers, as well as a potential future spouse, that you know how to set a goal and remain committed to it. It also tells the world that you know how to make a commitment, an important commitment, a long-term commitment, and keep it. It tells the world that you know what perseverance means, and it means more to this period in history, that everybody graduating during this period of COVID-19, it's capitals across the board for perseverance through challenging times, and being able to deal with setbacks based on your perseverance. That's another thing. Obviously, in our personal relationships, we have setbacks. In our life and in our work, we have setbacks. How do you deal with those? How do you overcome them? Because we all have them. not quite like this period in history for most of us. So another star on your diplomas today. Focus, you know, it tells people in the world that you can focus. And we all know it's awful hard for lots of young folks to focus, and that's a tremendous advantage in your life going forward, that you've proven to the world that you can focus. And working with others. You can't get through high school and college without learning how to work work with others. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. That's another critical foundational principle that your diploma stands for today. So we couldn't be more proud of this pioneering P-TECH class. We know you're going to go on and do great things and represent your school and SUNY Broome so well in your future. Congratulations, and go out and get them.
Strong words to conclude our evening tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Wish we could have done this in person. Used to the 200 or 300 of you in this gym with me, but this is the best we could do, and man, am I happy to be able to spend this time with you this evening. Good evening, have a good night, thank you.